It is actually surprising how many people have transitioned after playing Final Fantasy.
Statistically speaking, we are in a epidemic.
An epidemic of Final Fantasy transitions. Speaking of transitions, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Refundables show, where we review indie games. And today we'll be reviewing For the King.
Which is what is it? It's a roguelike co-op game, RPG.
And we first played it like 6 months ago when it was out in early access.
Yeah, I think I convinced you to buy an early access game, or I bought it for you.
You bought it for me because I would never buy an early access game.
The Jamie Jew never buys early access.
But since then, they've fully come out, and they did add a bunch of content, because they only had the one map available when we first played it. The one where you go around fighting the curse and then end up in the tower.
They've added, since we played last, another map, the Frozen map, which is pretty interesting mechanic. And they've added a dungeon mode, I think?
Yeah, so they added the Frost map, which has like a different mechanic from the Chaos. So the other map, they had the Chaos, which would stack over time and make the enemies more difficult. And this one, you just take world damage while walking around. It's like a standard RPG map, the first one. It's like a fire zone, and a grass zone, and a desert zone, and a winter zone.
You fight the mummies and you want to die, and you die, and it's good.
Yeah, but now they have a new map and 2 dungeon modes. And how many classes are there? I think there's like 8 total now. They reshuffled the classes a bit.
They reshuffled the cancel classes. Like
maybe they're just considered upgrades, and you can only select them if you don't have the upgrade bot.
Yeah, I guess so. We could be
because the trapper is just a better hunter.
Yeah, we got refunded some of the points we should probably explain how you unlock stuff.
Yeah, so there's like so while you're playing it, since it's a roguelike, you die a lot and you restart a lot. But all over the map, which is hex-based movement, by the way, and turn-based. So it's turn-based fighting and hex-based movement, where you're just moving one tile and you're rolling for the amount you move. So over time, sometimes from fights and random events, you get lore books. And the lore books you can spend in the lore store, where you can unlock new items to find and new classes to play and new events to add to the map. Like you have the healer, which will heal you, or the pipe upgrader, which gives you like a buff to all kinds of different abilities you have. And then there's the Dark Carnival, which lets you like roll a lucky roll to see if you get like a reward, or possibly eat shit as well if you're unlucky.
You get tickets for the Dark Carnival, which is pretty neat. You get like randomly, you get a ticket from killing a Yeti or something, and you get a ticket for a Dark Carnival, and you're like, what is this? And then you go around the map, you find the Dark Carnival, 10 games or 5 games. You get 3 lives for the whole party. If you're lacking a life, you can be like, okay, I want to gamble for a life. If you want to like slow down the enemy, you can do that. If you want gold, you can get gold. Whatever you need.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Unless you're Zeyam and then you roll and you die.
He had like 5% of death, and he's just like, yeah, I got this. Check, boop, death. Oh, fuck.
I think one of the things I like compared to many other games is that, to me, the percentages feel right. You know how you're playing like XCOM or something, and it's like 95 chance to hit, and it's just like complete fluke, and that just happens so often, it just becomes a meme. I never feel that you have an uneven distribution compared to what it's telling you, because it's very clear about your chances. And I think that the chances like that you see also line up with what it actually is, unlike XCOM or something.
I think it helps that it's not one row most of the time. Like your weapons, whenever you attack with a weapon, it checks the stats the weapon uses. Like a bow uses, what is it, accuracy or
awareness?
Awareness. Like an axe uses strength, and a staff uses intelligence. It's a magic staff. So whenever you roll, like you get different. Like it's like 4 rows if you're gonna.
It depends on the weapon.
Yeah, it depends on the weapon, but it's rarely only 1 row, unless it's one of those weapons that break and it's really powerful. But if you fail, it breaks, which is half the game is laughing at your teammates for fucking up. I don't think there's something like a turn-based RPG roguelike. It's really interesting from a design standpoint that they even made it. Even when it was early access, it wasn't crashing, it wasn't freezing.
Well, yeah, it felt like a full game when it was early access, first of all, so that's already a good sign. And then they did add like a bunch of content after release, and also like redid a bunch of quality of life stuff. And then one thing I found really funny when we played it after release was the gender selection, because I had no idea that the Trapper was a female model in early access. It's
the models are
they're like eunuchs or something. Like, I don't know what was going on there.
Everybody's pretty non-binary, if you know what I'm saying.
No, the guys kind of look like guys, but then all the females are just non-binary.
Yeah, because the guys have beards and shit. And like, everybody's like, but the women look like they've been...
It's just a man without a beard. There you go. It's done.
Yeah. They're like the feminine boys of the village, is the women.
It's the ideal society where the men are men and the women
are also men, of course. This is the future we chose, and it's a good future. But it's good they added both genders. If you like that stuff,
yeah. If you want the choice, it's there. And I also like the new customization that you can buy different outfits in the lore store. I must clarify, there are no microtransactions in the lore store. It's purely earned. It's purely earned in game by playing the game.
There's no $2.99 to buy a war chest.
Yeah.
It's just playing the game, you unlock it. It's like Binding of Isaac or any other roguelike, like Enter the Gungeon. You play it, you unlock shit. You get new characters. We just unlocked the hobo, the homeless guy, and the monk, which is you encounter him in a nice little
ice
reference into the Star Wars.
Yeah. Gotta fit in your pop culture references, of course.
Yeah, but it wasn't annoying. He didn't say some dumb shit, like, get it.
Yeah, that's true.
Hobo's a shirtless dude with a stick. I
think he's supposed to be the extra hard challenge mode, because I think there's an achievement for finishing the game as a bunch of hobos.
Oh, we can do 3 hobos next time we play. It's gonna be fun. The homeless boys. There's difficulty settings, of course. If you want to be like, I'm a hardcore gamer with hard R, so I want to play on hard. I think we're still playing the easiest difficulty.
No, we're playing medium difficulty.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, like the first playthrough on the first map, it took us a good couple of tries to figure it all out and get into a good flow where we were able to beat the end boss. So it's well balanced difficulty.
Yeah, and even understand the classes, and we were getting new classes. The Bard. Each class has their own special ability, of course. Like, every time you play it, it's unique. Of course, it's a roguelike, but you can get, like, randomly ambushed in the forest. You can run around and some wolf attacks you and just kills you. And you're like, fuck! And your 2 other friends are laughing their ass off.
When you just stumble across an ambush encounter and you just die, and it's like, well, guess it's time to restart.
Yeah, if it's at the start, you're like, okay, we're what, 15 minutes in? Okay, well, let's restart this.
Message received.
It is a slow game, however. Yeah, if you got like 2 hours to kill, you can do like a third of a campaign if you're doing good. If you're doing bad, you're going to die anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Ideally, every campaign is probably 6 to 7 hours.
The dungeon crawler thing seems to be just like you just go into the dungeon and you just
it's
go
an endless mode. You just keep going room after room after room.
We haven't played that yet, so we can't talk about it, but I think the dungeon part, it's interesting, but it's the world map and going around and exploring and finding like strange shit and getting a quest and the quest sending you somewhere where you haven't been. That's the interesting part, and making like a short story of it.
Yeah, the managing the world, like running around to different places, the party splitting up, converging, and making sure you're not pulling too many enemies and stuff like that. That's definitely the best part, even if the dungeons are still fun.
The world and the world building itself, even though it's random, there's always stuff to do because stuff disappears and reappears.
Yeah, there's night and day cycles, and they decide when stuff spawns or disappears. Like at night, there's less range, and there's weather effects, and there's also new enemies at night, usually more dangerous and stuff like that.
And I think you're more likely to get ambushed, so the enemy can surprise you. Like if you're at night, of course, if you're going around, and it's all stat based. Like if you're one of the heroes, you're gonna be ambushed less often because you have more awareness, I think is the stat. And if you're like a mage and you're pretty not aware of yourself, you're gonna get ambushed.
Yeah, not self-aware. Just picking my nose in the field. Just eating my boogers.
Eating my intelligent boogers. But you're not you're not gonna get ambushed so much. You're like, oh fuck this.
It's not like Pokemon where it's just random encounter after random encounter. The ambushes are the lesser amount of events. They just always pop up when you least need them. Yeah,
it's really interesting how the power balances shift like vastly depending on what kind of gear you're gonna get. Like I'm playing the healer, I guess, the herbalist, and Jamie's playing an archer. And Jamie's usually the damage dealer. And then I got a fire staff, and now I'm the damage dealer. But I gotta also heal people so they don't die, so we don't, game over. Because there's like 4 different types of weapons, even 5 potentially. Like talent for the bards, I think, is the stat.
Yeah, the bards get default talent and strength. Trappers get awareness and speed. Mages get speed and intellect.
Yeah, pretty much every character has 2 good stats and 2 weaker ones or 3 weaker ones. So you gotta kind of be prepared. Like we don't have a strength guy right now in the party. We have a bard, we have an archer, we have a mage. So we don't have a person with a strength weapon, like primarily. But that doesn't mean that if somebody gets a really good strength weapon, we know that the bard can use it.
There's some cross-play between classes.
Yeah, but also you can't have all the party members because there's 4 different types of stats and already 3 characters.
Yeah, of course.
So we've had times where we just don't have like an agility character or an awareness character.
Or the one run where you played bard and you were like, oh, I want to play a lute because I'm a bard, and then all you got was strength weapons over and over, and you were just playing a strength bard like the entire campaign.
We didn't have any like lutes. And any like bard weapons. I was just playing a strength character, and previously I was just playing a strength character. Like this is a shitty.
Oh boy, I'm Pepi Popa. I'm gonna get this bard, so I don't have to play warrior anymore.
It's like, oh, here's a shield and a sword. Go fight. It's like, oh, fuck.
Just the randomness of where your character is gonna go based on what you get. Because ideally, a trapper has like a shield and a one-ended spear. I haven't run into a single one-ended spear this time. It's all just bows and two-handers.
Yeah, bows and two-handers. And we bought a good bow for you, and then a second later, oh, here's a good spear. Like,
yeah.
But that's the risk. That's like, do you save the gold? Because prices go up as days go by.
Yeah, it's important to manage your resources over time.
Yeah, and then you got to manage your resources. You got to manage time itself because everything gets tougher as time proceeds. You're against the clock, your resources are running out, and you just got to keep going. You can't go back. You don't have time.
It's interesting how it does it, like, on the multiple levels. Because first you have the random bosses that pop up. They force you to keep going. And if you don't manage your gold properly, even on, like, not the hardest difficulty, you're going to get messed up pretty fast, because even now we're stacking increased gold earned on one character, and even then, like, we still have to really manage our gold properly.
Yeah, you can't really be like, oh, this is a good weapon for me, I'm gonna buy it. In a way, it's as stupid as it sounds, like rating. Like, oh, okay, you need this, but the other guy needs that more. So
yeah, it's like a 3-man loot council every run.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we got the 100 gold. What do we need? So we need healing supplies, we need this, and we need like an armor, which is universal, so anybody can wear it. So we can throw it on people if we get another armor that's better.
Yeah, there's always a balance to strike with how you have to distribute the wealth, like a good socialist.
A good gamer socialist, rise up.
Yeah, it's a planned economy.
Yeah, the bard oligarch distributes the gold. But I think the bosses are a good thing we should mention more, because there's like 10 of them or more. They're really unique. Each of them adds an effect on the map itself. First off, you can see him on the timeline, because there's a timeline of like day, night, and you can see when he's gonna appear on the map, but you don't see where. So if you don't want him to start affecting your game, you need to find where he is.
You have to like frantically run around like an idiot trying to explore all the maps, squares, hexagons before it pops up. And otherwise, it's just because one of them, for instance, will randomly steal items from you, and one of them will randomly skip turns for you if you leave it up. So that's why you really got to take care of them fast, because they'll mess you up over time real fast if you let them sit around.
Yeah, each of them is like his name's like a wizard. He's a cold heart. He just throws volcanoes on the map that can fuck you up if you go through him. And they throw fire to nearby hexes. So if you don't kill him, if you don't manage him, you're just gonna have volcanoes all over the map, throwing fire at you, on top of all the other shit that's going on your life. Each of them also, if you kill them, you get a signature item. I would say it's a unique item you can't get anywhere else. So there's like a carrot, not only a stick. The time ward, the old time guy, gives you a hourglass that makes you faster, and you get bonus speed, so you can move faster across the map. And you also speed affects how fast you act in combat, which is really really beneficial to have high initiative.
It kind of feels like playing Babby's D&D.
The DM is just a randomly generated map.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty accurate with what you just said.
But not in a bad way, like in a good way.
Yeah,
it's just good fun.
Well, what other game have we played? Like I think Pillars of Eternity we played together.
Or no, Divinity Original Sin.
Divinity is there's too much shit. There's too much RPG in there. From a role-playing standpoint, there's not a lot of role-playing.
It's a good co-op board game in digital form.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate to say. But it just works really, like Todd Howard says, it just works.
So yeah, what's the cost? I think it's $20, $25, but it's $20 now in the Steam store. And would you refund it?
I would definitely not refund it.
I wouldn't refund it either. It's been a good fun, especially playing it with others. We've played it a good 60 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I got 50 hours. For $15 to 50 hours is pretty good.
It was never dull or felt like you were grinding. It's just, messing around with friends in a roguelike, and it works. So that's it for our review of For the King. Thank you so much for listening to our first episode. And if you have any indie games you'd like us to review, let us know in the comments below.